Hi, I'm Connie Oliver, Vice President of Marketing and Client Relations at Solis Mammography. On this video, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about some of the myths around mammography. And one of the things I like to do is to talk to my friends and neighbors and people who ask me questions, letting them know about the things that I didn't know before I joined the industry about 2 years ago. I hope some of this information will put your mind at ease and encourage you to practice preventative breast care. So let's get to it. Information is power. Myth number 1. You do not need to worry about it if you don't have breast cancer in your family. The fact is, in 2015, 85% of the reported cases of breast cancer were found in women with no history in their family. Now, we don't say this to scare you because we don't want to use fear-based messaging, but we do want people to understand that while history is an important consideration, it is not the deciding factor in whether or not you should get screened. Annual screening is the best way to ensure early detection. Myth number 2. Most women are going to get breast cancer at some point in their lives. It's just a matter of time. Lots of organizations out there have done a terrific job about educating the public about the prevalence of breast cancer in society. In fact, the number that we hear most often is that 1 in 8 women will get breast cancer at some point in her lifetime. But think about that for just a minute. 1 in 8 women will be diagnosed in her lifetime. That means that 7 in 8 women won't. At Solis, we work really hard to educate women so that it's not a scary thing, but it's a knowledge thing. The earlier you find something, if you are that 1 in 8, the easier your treatment options will be. That's what we want to do at Solis. We want to deliver peace of mind one way or the other. 7 in 8 will get that peace of mind that they're all clear for another year, or 1 in 8 will find that there's something that needs attention and they'll find out as early as possible so their options are as easy as possible. Myth number 3. There is no reason to get a mammogram screening every single year. The fact is, a woman's breasts are always changing. Things like breastfeeding, hormone fluctuations, menstrual cycles, menopause, all of these things affect women's bodies and their breast health. Women ages 40 and older need to understand that changes in their body means changes in their breast health. Annual screening is the best way to ensure that if a concern arises, early detection will offer them the best and easiest treatment options available. Myth number 4. Mammograms are painful. This is probably something we hear more than anything else. And the fact is, mammograms shouldn't be painful. If you see a breast specialist who is highly trained in understanding the unique nature of breast tissue, he or she will understand how much compression is enough to get a good picture, but not too much to cause unnecessary discomfort. If it's done correctly, compression should be uncomfortable, but not painful. To back that up with evidence, 89% of the patients that we have each year, that's more than 150,000 women each year, report little to no discomfort in their annual screening mammogram. And I can say from personal experience that before I joined the company, I had had mammograms at 4 or 5 different providers and experienced a world of difference when I went to Solis for my first mammogram. Myth number 5. Doing self-exams is equally as good as getting a mammogram. According to the American Cancer Society, mammography is the single most effective method of early detection. Mammograms detect cancer long before any physical symptoms such as lumps might become apparent to a woman who's doing a self-exam or even to a trained physician who's conducting a manual exam. In women who have annual mammograms, the average size of an anomaly is a pea, the size of a pea. In women who do not get annual screenings, but then find something through a self-detection or a lump, the average size of what's found is the size of a walnut. That size difference between the pea and the walnut has a dramatic impact on treatment options and quality of life. Myth number 6. Mammograms aren't accurate. The truth is, today, technology has brought about 3D mammography, also known as tomosynthesis. And 3D mammography is the best tool available to detect breast cancer before it can be felt. Mammography specifically, when you're doing your homework, is most accurate when it is performed by a dedicated breast imaging center, someone who specializes in breast imaging, a fellowship-trained or dedicated breast radiologist, someone who looks at breast tissue day in and day out, radiologists who read a high volume of both screening and diagnostic mammograms. And for those who aren't familiar with the difference between 2D and 3D, there is a very big difference. 3D mammography is kind of like if you think about a book. And if you're looking at a book and you're looking at the tissue within the breast through the front and back cover of the breast only, versus looking at the individual pages of a book. That's what 3D does for you. It allows you to look at the breast in layers of tissue, which gives a much, much better view of the depth of the tissue, increasing the specificity of early detection, and decreasing the need for unnecessary callbacks. Myth number 7, breast cancer is a death sentence. Now don't get me wrong, there is no question about it. Breast cancer is a very serious disease. But as with most diseases, the earlier it's detected and treatment gets started, the better the outcome will be. In fact, with advances in medical research and treatment, the 5-year survival rate for a woman that's diagnosed with either stage 0 or stage 1 breast cancer, the earliest possible stages for detection, is nearly 100%. However, it's important to remember that treatment options are better and easier whenever cancer is detected early. Because saving your life is clearly job 1, but running a very close second is preserving your quality of life. Perhaps not needing chemotherapy, perhaps not needing a double mastectomy. These are the things and these are the choices you may have if you find it earlier. So let's take a look at a patient example. A dear friend of mine who gave me permission to share her story, Jennifer Shaw. She was diagnosed at the age of 41. She was diagnosed at stage 1 breast cancer. Her treatment was 6 weeks of radiation, no chemotherapy, no hair loss, and she is today a 3-year breast cancer survivor that has been in remission for all of those 3 years. That's a powerful testimonial to the impact and the significance of early detection. That's what we try to get women to understand all the time, that while saving your life is job 1, we want you to understand that your options are so much better and so much easier if you find it early. People like Jennifer are living testimonials of that. Myth number 8, mammograms are dangerous and cause cancer. So let's look at the facts. 2D and 3D mammograms do require very small amounts of radiation. But the benefits of that mammography far outweigh the tiny chance of harm from that radiation. Now, as always, we recommend that women talk to their doctors if they have any particular concerns about any radiation or any screening procedure. But the simple analogy that I like to offer people is avoiding getting a mammogram for fear of getting breast cancer is like avoiding learning how to swim because you're afraid of drowning. Myth number 9. There's no point in even going to a screening facility if you don't have health insurance. So here's where we are. The reality is today that of women who have health insurance, only 57% get their annual mammogram. That's just a little more than half that go get their mammogram, even though for them, it's covered at 100%. Sadly, for those who are underinsured or uninsured, the figure is much lower. And for something that is so preventable, especially if found early, mammography is just too important to ignore. So let's look at our options. First, at Solis Mammography, we offer a $99 coupon for those who need a self-pay or cash pay option and do not have insurance. There are also lots of terrific organizations out there, nonprofit organizations like the Carity Foundation, who will cover the cost of mammography, diagnostics, biopsies, and even treatment if needed. So what we want patients and women everywhere to understand is don't let the lack of financial means keep you from getting the early detection and the peace of mind that you deserve. Myth number 10, you no longer need to get screened if you are in your 40s. So let's take a look at this one. First of all, in 2015, according to the data, 1 in 5 women in the United States who got breast cancer were diagnosed in their 40s. 1 in 5. Unfortunately, there have been many mixed messages in the media from organizations like the U.S. Preventative Services Task Force, who came out and said that you didn't need a mammogram starting at 40, and that you could even perhaps go only every couple of years. The thing to remember about that particular group is that they are a non-physician-based organization. At Solis Mammography, we support the findings and the research of our team of breast-dedicated radiologists, which supports the same findings that have been found by physician-led organizations like the NCCN, the National Comprehensive Cancer Network, and ACOG, the American Congress of Obstetrics and Gynecologists. All of those organizations support starting at age 40 and going annually as the best chances for preventing and finding early detection. So in closing, I always feel like I have sort of two jobs in my role at Solis Mammography. The first is to help educate women about why it's so important to get their annual mammogram. And the second is, if you've decided to get your mammogram, then where should you go? Why should you choose Solis over someone else? Well, the simple answer is because all mammogram providers are not created equal. The reality is we have done a lot of work, research-based work, to understand why women do or don't get their annual mammogram and how we can make the experience a better one so women won't avoid the mammogram they need. We've done lots of things to be patient-facing, like sending out annual reminders via email, text, and phone calls, engaging our patients through social media, having breast-dedicated radiologists and team members so that we are experts at what we do, delivering fast results by secure email 24 to 48 hours after your appointment, having warm and welcoming centers with warm and caring staff members, sending text and voice reminders, having an all-female contact center 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. every day, and offering real-time online scheduling so you can schedule at your convenience, whenever and however you want. These are all things that we are doing to try to make it a better experience so again, women will get the early detection and the peace of mind they deserve. So for more information or to learn more about Solis Mammography, feel free to go to our website at www.solismammo.com, or you can call us anytime at our toll-free number, 866-717-2551.